a pending case. But what does this say to you about the fact that we've got a pending trial date in May of 2024 for Donald Trump and Walt Nauta, and now we interject Carlos de Oliveira, who may actually have may have a role that's bigger than just being a co-defendant or a defendant. Maybe it's more than just being a witness.
Yeah, when two words really come to mind for me, Katie, and that's Walt Nauta. I really think that this is a lot about putting pressure on Walt Nauta, who is thus far stuck with Trump. There's all this video of him, gallivanting with Trump all around the country in Philadelphia and elsewhere. He appears to be tied at the hip with Trump, and he's represented by a lawyer who's very closely aligned with Trump. They want to put pressure on Nauta because right now, while I agree that the case against Trump is pretty overwhelming, Nauta, that's a different story, and I think they want to make him feel the heat. So I wouldn't be surprised if potentially this new defendant is a flipper, or if the intention is to put pressure on him so he flips. But you're right, Katie, when you mentioned the timeline, because I think that this will impact that and will slow that down. I think that Jack Smith is more worried about putting the pressure on them than he is about the timeline, given that Aileen Cannon is the judge.
So, Nick, my question to you, I am hearing from some sources that it is going to be filed under the same case number as Donald Trump and Walt Nauta's case. To Renato's point, what does that say to you then, Nick? Is this just an additional co-defendant, meaning that perhaps he hasn't had conversations about cooperating? Or is this somebody that could still be identified as a co-defendant in this existing indictment, Nick, but could still be a cooperator?
Well, any of these people, Nauta or this new defendant, could be a cooperator. But the fact of the matter is, putting these two individuals in the same trial with Donald Trump is really a lodestone around Donald Trump's neck. When the jury looks at this, they have to look at the guilt or innocence of these two individuals that were moving boxes to hide them from Trump's lawyer so he wouldn't turn them over pursuant to a grand jury subpoena. That's what the prosecutor wants the jury to focus on. This is the only reason that Donald Trump was indicted in this case, was because he had obstructed justice, he defied the subpoena, and this whole process of moving boxes around is critical. So